What's up, everybody? It's Luke over at Galaxy Tech Review, and today I've got Ark Survival Evolved on the MSI GT62VR, of course with that GTX 1070. Up in the left-hand corner, as always, you're going to see GPU temperature, frames per second, CPU temperature, and system RAM utilization. Let's take a look at our options here. I have this on Epic preset with one thing turned off, motion blur, and that's just because I don't like motion blur, so it sets it to custom, but this is the Epic preset and all the things that come with the Epic preset, except for motion blur. That's just one thing I turn off because I personally don't like it. It is 1080p, full screen, 60 Hz, and Epic preset. So now that we've got that out of the way, here is Ark. The sun is coming up. Of course, I don't really have that much done yet. You can see that we're averaging somewhere around 80 frames per second, 70 to 80 frames per second at this point. Thermals are holding in on the GPU, 68 degrees on the GPU and 69 or 70 degrees on the CPU there. It is using almost 10 gigs of the 16 gigs of system RAM. This particular game uses a lot of RAM to run, especially in Epic. Another thing of note is that this will jump around a lot depending on what you have in the background. If you have a lot of water or fire in the background or a lot of structures, you are going to see a frame dip. You will get that dip down as low, even in Epic settings with the GTX 1070. I found that it can go as low as 50 frames per second easily when you have a lot of fire or water or reflection objects. For the most part, though, if you're just running around doing your thing, you're getting about 70 to 80 frames per second, and it will jump even higher than that. So, overall, it's a pretty good experience in Epic. Now, again, if you're in a highly populated server, you may want to kick this down to the high preset, just so that you can maintain that 60 frames per second mark. You know, if you're in a very populated server and there's a lot of people running around and a lot of structures being built and all of that things, that is where you're going to get the biggest hit on your frame rates. So let's take a look at gaming I've made. I need to actually craft a pick here, so I will do that. I was kind of just messing around. Obviously, I don't have any clothing yet either. That's something else I need to do. So we'll use this pick and go hopefully find some flint and other things that we need. I am thirsty, it looks like, or hungry, one or the other, so I'm going to eat some berries here because that's really all I've got at the moment. And hopefully that will tide me over until I can start doing some other things. Now, Ark is a very interesting game. I don't have any problems with the game. I've never really gotten too much into it myself, but it is a pretty fun game, and it's very popular. It's taken a lot of heat lately because they've upped the price on it now. I bought it back when it was considered early access, or, you know, at that price point. And, you know, now people are upset because they've actually raised the price. And, of course, I took a crap, which I probably should pick up if I'm going to fertilize anything, but I'm not at the moment, so I'm not going to worry about it. We'll run around and we will set up a camp fire somewhere and start there. So anyway, as you can see, the sun is now up and the reflections there off the water, we are down into the high 60s or 60 frames per second, as you can see right there, 60, 65 frames per second. Again, if you want to maintain a solid 60 frames a second on the GTX 1070 laptop, you are going to want to put this on high when you're playing on populated servers. If you're mostly by yourself, you can get away with Epic, but high might be the best preset to do that for as well. So I'll craft a few more things here. And it looks like I just got a upgrade point, so we'll deal with that. I'm just going to run around and do a few things. You guys can check this out. I'll craft a shirt so I'm not totally naked here. And you guys can see the rest of the gameplay and how it functions under these conditions. Again, this is an pretty empty server. There's not a lot of buildings or anything like that. So we're going to maintain, you know, in Epic, you know, 70 frames, 75 frames average per second. Again, if you I have to stress this, if you're going to play on a busy server or you're going to play with a bunch of other people, put it on high, do not put it on epic, and you'll still maintain that 60 frames per second just by doing that. So that's what I suggest. I'll let you guys check out the rest of the gameplay. It's just me running around gathering some stuff as the sun comes up here, maybe building a fire, doing a few other things so that you guys can check this out and check out what the frames are in different scenarios. And I'll be back at the end to check in. So there you go. That's Arc Survival Evolved on the MSI GT62VR with that GTX 1070. GTX 1070 did a good job hanging in there. 68 degrees on the GPU, 66 or 67 degrees on the CPU, using still close to that 10 gigabytes of 16 gigabytes of system RAM. Averaged about 70 to 80 frames per second in Epic. Again, 1080p, custom only because I took off motion blur. Again, if you're going to play in a highly populated server, I suggest putting it down to high and doing that. And this was Luke from Galaxy Tech Review. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other games you'd like to see on this laptop, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll check you guys out on the next video.